Go ahead, Mr. Chairman, and call the meeting to order. We'll go from there.
Good morning. I'd like to call to order today, August 18th, 2020 meeting of the Sandpoint City Historic Preservation Commission. And for a roll call.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Present today are Steve Garvin, Chairman, Commissioner Sue Graves, Commissioner Heather Upton, Commissioners Jackie Albright, and Jim Quinn are absent.
Thank you. Announcements and reports from the commissioners. I guess the only thing I'd like to mention is, so September 15th is our next scheduled meeting. Does that work for everyone? There's 5 Tuesdays in that month, I believe. Yeah.
September
15th is the scheduled meeting, so I'm just asking.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'll get back to a couple of other things during the walking tour brochure discussion.
Mr. Chair, I do have an update to provide.
That's not part of the old business?
Correct.
Okay, go ahead.
Commissioner Upton was asking about the metrics on the online tours, how many people have visited the website, etc. The old tour that we originally put up in 2017, that's had approximately 2,700 views over the course of its life, which is not insignificant, I would say. And I do not have metrics on the new one that is on Pocket Sites. I think we can get metrics on that if we're able to log in.
Has Rick connected with you on that yet?
He hasn't.
Okay, I'll reach out to him.
Okay.
It would now be a good time for him to transfer all that information to you so you can be the admin on that.
Good point.
I will look into doing that. I think he was finishing just a few more things on the tour, so I'll see where the status is.
Okay. And while I was looking at the metrics, I noticed that the old tour is not functioning very well. So I've made it so that the booklet does not point at that tour, but it's pointing at the Pocket Sites tour.
Okay.
In the interim. I'll do a little looking into why the old.
That would be a great reason to hasten the admin chain turnover.
Agreed.
Right, and then we could get rid of the 17 one after that, right? Delete.
Okay, yes.
While you're on
So,
that, go ahead.
Just to clarify, the only tour that we would have would be the one with Pocket Sites. We wouldn't have any other virtual tour for the map?
Currently, that is how it is.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. The old one is essentially inoperable for whatever reason. I don't know the system well enough to. It's just giving me kind of a generic error.
Is that single platform enough for us, or do you believe that we need a secondary one for website use? I mean, just thinking about going through their platform, you have more restrictions. Is there a program we should be utilizing for the website with the city?
It's a good question. I don't know. I'd have to look more into Pocket Sites.
Okay.
But the Pocket Sites tour seems to be stable. It loads quickly. It loads on multiple devices, so it's flexible in that regard. And so long as there's no kind of, it doesn't expire or go away or something like that.
That's my only thought, or all of a sudden there's like a monthly subscription or something like that. We want to be careful about being tied into that, where our foundation was the one online tour. And is the city okay with having the main tour be Pocket Sites? That would be the other question.
That was my question too, about would the city be comfortable. And also, this is the first we've heard of this, and we always are saying, you go to the city, you go to the city. And so we want to make sure, especially when we restart the walking tours as well, that it's something that's active, because as you know, it won't make the city look good if it's not functioning and it's there.
Is there a tech person with the city?
We have our GIS.
I would bring this to
employee.
their attention,
Yeah.
because this is a huge marketing opportunity for the city.
Yeah, I was planning on following up with.
I know you're
with
busy.
him.
But I think that's a great idea, again, for the city's benefit, as well as just to have it appropriately there, parallel to Pocket Site rather than
Yeah.
instead of.
And I don't think this should rest on your shoulders, Ryan. I think that this is a city tech issue. The Pocket Sites thing was a commission add-on, but yeah, I think that this is a different issue there.
Because we know the city is always concerned with image and being up to date. So. Okay, Ryan, that begs one other thing for me. Could you check between now and the next meeting, just email us an update as to where our finances are?
And I was going to give an update on item 6B.
Okay, perfect then. Then we'll wait for that. Okay, any other announcements or reports from the commissioners? Any public comments from the one member of the public that's here?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
for the record, there is no one attending online by Zoom.
thank you for clarifying that.
How disappointing.
So Carrie Logan, I live in the city of Sandpoint. So I would be concerned about losing the city's version of the walking tour. I think there should be both, the pocket and the one city one on the website. That's just my 2 cents worth. For somewhat for the reason you're saying, Heather, that at some point there'd be a fee associated with. And secondly, and I'm not sure about this, but I don't know how much you would lose with the pocket tour. And I just think it's an important thing to be on the website on behalf of the city in addition to the pocket tour. That's really a different purpose, the pocket tour.
Much appreciated
Yeah.
as a former member and also endorsing what I believe to be the commission's stance on this. Correct? Sue?
Yes.
Yep. Thank you, Carrie. Okay, meeting minutes approval. Minutes from the July meeting. Does anybody have any changes, corrections, additions? Hearing none, those minutes are approved, or we should consensus vote for that.
Mr. Chairman, if we could have a motion and a second, please, and a vote.
Yes.
So move. I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All abstaining? Motion carries, minutes approved. Okay, old business, walking tour brochure, distribution and set a time for the walking tour. If you don't mind, I'm going to address the walking tour itself first. I'm not currently comfortable enough with the idea that at least one other person I've spoken to who's been involved in helping us lead those is not also comfortable. And I'd like to actually suggest that we table this and plan for spring 2021, not wait till end of summer or fall, but to plan on relaunching walking tour in the spring. But that's my proposal. So any discussion or disagreements here?
I think that's smart. I think we need to do what we can to set an example. Being cautious. Yeah, I agree.
Even with a bullhorn, social distancing could be challenging, and I just think it'd be better to be prudent. But again, to wait till spring, as it not fall. Okay, do we need to make that a motion? No. Okay.
When the time comes, the museum would be happy to help promote that on our social media sites and our
Excellent.
events page. So please keep us in touch about that.
I think it'd be great, and we've always, I even brought a copy of something we had used previously, but we always did something in the Sandpoint online and the B and everything as well. And I think if we did all those things, it would really help promote it.
We'll put that on our calendar then for events for next year.
Yeah, but again, for spring. Yeah. Okay. Distribution. I did print out the current list of who's responsible for which places. But, you know, it seems like myself and Sue and Jackie were somewhat comfortable being the people mainly doing that. Jim said he would take on a few, but he's not here, so I guess I'd like to just talk to him separately and say, hey, here's this list, are there a few you'd like to handle, and then take a few from whoever of us that he would like to do that. And that works for you? And does that work for you?
I'll keep my same ones.
Yep, and I will for the time being too, and I think I mentioned this last time, but I did just a couple of months ago drop a bunch at the Coeur d'Alene Visitor Center, which is at least good timing for summer, so. Okay, moving on from that then for now. Let's see, commission funds, 6B item, overview and discussion, Ryan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the commission currently has $88.26 in their funds. To provide just a quick overview of the recent history, the balance prior to the last printing was $5,316, and the printing was $5,300. Which left the commission with very little left over. And then since that time, there's been small amounts of donations adding up to that 88.26.
And there are at least a few out there that I think have some modest donations that can be picked up as well. I'll make sure to do them at the ones I'm responsible for. Yeah, it
When
does.
I've deposited, it's been at least $20.
And what about, Ryan, are there any pending grants that we would be receiving monies for, or conversely, anything that we have to account for in the next couple of months in terms of recent grants in the last year or so that we've gotten? Okay. All right, well, small is okay for now. We did well with raising the money on the last 3 editions, and we'll have to face that again probably sometime next year.
Well, how many, when do you think we're gonna have to start considering a reprint?
Based on what's happening with COVID and everything, I don't think we're gonna have to consider it till the end of next summer. I mean, having ones. And that might even be early, but I just.
I think our tourism is up because everyone wants to be here.
Yes, but we still have a lot of them. Remember, we did more. We raised enough money to do 3,500. So, and I remember when we talked about it recently, the numbers seemed adequate for that. You know, we should assess every meeting or two, and if we have to look at it in the spring to make sure we're stocked for next summer, of course we will. But so far, it feels like we'll have a lot longer than we expected, and not doing the walking tours for a while too. That takes up a fair amount of copies.
Very good. Do you think maybe this could become a line item in the budget for next year for the city?
For next year?
Well, this year, or whenever the budget
For
cycle in?
the budget is basically like being wrapped up now, so the following year, potentially, yes.
I think,
And the fiscal year ends in month? October. So we're already too late, you're saying, for
For
2021?
correct.
Okay.
so can we start, that conversation about?
It should
this
happen
for
early.
2022? Yeah. I think that this is definitely, that's not a huge amount, and the impact that the brochure has in terms of marketing or the historic charm of the community, which seems to be an important thing for the city right now. I think this would be something that definitely put in there.
And this is a topic that has come up off and on again in recent years, and the city seems very supportive of its Historic Preservation Commission. So let's make a point to apply for whatever we need to do and come up with an amount of money that we feel is reasonable and see it through the process. Does that work, Ryan?
Yes.
Okay, so what time, when should we start seriously doing this so we don't miss out next next.
I can follow up on that internally with finance and administration, see when that would be appropriate. Whether that's March or sooner.
And
The budget discussions start gearing up generally about spring.
And I would suggest that we would respectfully ask for, request, whatever, something that would at least be equivalent to our expected full cost of the print run. I don't know what other members.
And I see this as separate from any arts and culture budget formation. I see this more as marketing from the city. It should kind of go under that line item. It's more of a marketing and promotion concept. Not knowing how you guys structure your budget, but it's not really an activity. I mean, we put forth the work to get it done, but now this is a ongoing thing.
I think you've got a really good point there, but I think we need to hear back from whatever responsible party or department as to how they would consider it. Carrie?
Historically, and because you're kind of part of the planning commission, planning department would be the appropriate place to make the request for those funds. So it would appear as a line item for publication of brochures, whatever you wanted to title it. That would be my suggestion.
Oh, very good.
Thank you. Marketing materials, publications.
Yeah, because the city doesn't really have a marketing department.
Okay.
That work for you, Ryan, as our liaison?
I can follow up on that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you both. Okay, 6C, Certified Local Government or CLG grant. Funds originally earmarked for conference attendance at 2 conferences. One conference has been, well, actually, both were physically canceled, but one was held virtually, right? To be accurate?
Well, yeah, one was rescheduled to be held physically in 2021.
Okay, and the other was held virtually
Correct.
and scheduled as it usually had been for every 2 years.
Correct.
Okay, so discuss reallocation of funds and other opportunities. Where are we at with that, Ryan? None of us chose to go to the virtual one, and the other one's postponed for a year.
So I followed up with the State Historic Preservation Office, and those funds can indeed be reallocated to other projects. The funds in question are approximately $1,400. And the SHPO Preservation Officer had a couple of suggestions, one of those being potentially using those funds for the printing of the plan, the master plan that's going on right now. Another being basically more like one more person being sent to the Heritage Conference in Idaho.
Next September.
Next September. But I would recommend that the commission wait for the master plan to finish. And part of a good plan is basically funding strategies. How is the plan going to be implemented? And that could inform, that could have really good suggestions on which direction to take for these funds.
And is the 1,400, which would have covered both conferences?
No, the total amount awarded was a little over $3,000.
So about 1,600 or so was to the Preservation Commission?
The SHPO told me $1,400, but it might be a little flexible.
Right, but that's for the Heritage, or that's what I'm asking.
1,400 for the NAPC forum,
Oh, okay.
which can be reallocated.
And what was the amount for the Heritage one?
The 3,000 minus the 1,400.
So about 1,600. I had it backward. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Well, that sounds like good advice on your part about waiting for the plan to be finished. Is there any deadlines like spend or lose?
It's, the deadline is basically after the 2021 Heritage Conference.
Oh, okay.
So in September of 2021.
And the other one we know won't be held until summer of '22, because it's only held every 2 years.
The NAPC.
Yeah.
I believe you're correct.
Do you have a release date on the arts and culture plan by chance?
I do not.
I don't think we're at that point yet, are we?
They're currently they currently just released a
Target
survey.
of the survey, yeah.
So they're at the kind of data collection, public public input collection stage, which is good. They're chugging forward.
And is that open to anybody?
Yes.
So we could circulate it? I mean, I
Yes.
received one, I could circulate it before I fill it in. Carrie?
Well, I opened that up and I didn't find any content.
What was it? There was no content in there? There's no question?
No, there wasn't. Have any of you opened it up?
No, I was gonna do
Yeah.
it later this week.
There was only, put your name in if you're interested in getting information.
Interesting.
Oh, I think you're referring to the sign up section of their website.
That was the only thing that I got a link to from the city.
If that is a problem for any of the rest of us, do we just email back or contact you, Ryan, or what should we do here? I'm gonna try the link.
So I'll send a link to the commissioners. There's two links in there. There's one to the survey and there's one to kind of where you sign up for more information. So I'll resend that.
By the way, I correct myself asking that question. It does say here the survey is invitation only.
So that wouldn't be to the public.
Right. I think when I respond, I might suggest a few people that they send it out to. At least I can request that.
Why in the world would you have invitation only on a survey?
Doesn't make sense to me.
Well, it's what it says twice in the opening.
Is it for the steering committee?
Yes.
So it was just the survey sent out to the steering committee. So Ryan, was there not a survey sent out to the public?
But I got something, I haven't opened it, and I'm not part of this.
Here we go. I got it. Further down, it says, if you know anyone who would like to fill out the public survey, please share the public link. So they're two different links.
Well, how confusing is
And the surveys are open through the end of August 28th.
So if they weren't able to, with the public survey, capture Carrie Logan, that's concerning to me. Who are they sending this public survey out to? She is someone that is a strong community member who lives in Sandpoint in a historic area.
The public survey should be readily available on our website.
So do people have to go find it? Or are they using a mailing list?
It's an open town hall website.
So we have a little news article on our website, kind of on the front page there, that says that the survey has been released and we have links to it.
And that's the only marketing that's been done for that.
Well, typically on these kinds of things, they'll send it out through Facebook and those avenues.
Okay.
Seems like it should go to everybody who pays a water bill or
Yes.
whatever.
Any sort of
This
tax.
doesn't make sense to me.
Is it proactive or reactive?
My understanding is these are sent out proactively.
But not to like every customer that gets as a water bill or something. I mean, just for an example.
I'm not exactly sure how this was sent out.
Well,
See what it is I can-
I can try calling or emailing Mary later today or tomorrow on behalf of this question and interested members.
So if you
would-
click on the city link there, does the questionnaire open up?
Yeah, it's, the link is opentownhall.com,
I tried that.
and there's a survey, take the survey right there.
So if you open that, what's
Mhm.
there?
A survey,
That's it right there?
yeah. It looks like it's,
We'll make sure to promote that survey. That's good to know that it's out. I wasn't aware of that one, public survey.
I'll send that to
That's what
the
is
commission.
this what you got?
It doesn't look like that,
It
but,
says share your thoughts. Arts, culture, and historic preservation master plan.
from Mary Malone. Mine says,
The Lakota group.
oh, this is not from them. That's the consultants. This is from Mary Malone of the city, and, I think they're two different things. Anybody know, Ryan, or?
So it sounds like there were separate, the Lakota group may have sent out something to the steering committee separately. And then we have the public survey, which has recently been released. And I can send you that, resend you that via email.
I'm pretty sure these are two different things.
This was just like showing the website, it looks like.
That's what I had too.
Website.
Well, again, I will contact Mary and see if I can get any clarification.
Okay.
Okay, anything else on that topic? Looking ahead, Ryan, is anything planned for next year that we might need or want to be aware of as commission members for educational opportunities that you know of, other than the preservation thing in September?
I have nothing in addition to share.
And will SHPO be coming up here at all this fall?
Plans right now for in-person visits are going to
Slim.
be a little, yeah.
Okay.
So
We just want to,
I talked to Pete Laurent this morning, and he didn't share any visits that they were planning.
we just want to stay ahead of things as much as we can.
I have a fun thing, but I can't talk about it because I didn't put it on the agenda for new business.
No, you can talk about it. It can't be an action item, right? Or,
Melissa, can you?
Mr. Chairman, if a commissioner just would like to relay something briefly, that's not a problem.
that's what I thought. Just no action items.
Well, even if something is not an action item, it should be agendized. Especially if it's something that's going to come up in the future for discussion on another agenda, but if it's just an announcement or general information that you'd like to relay, you're certainly welcome to do so.
Fantastic.
With that,
Is this an appropriate time?
if that falls accordingly, yes, because we're at new business now. Go ahead.
Very good. Well, the museum has this little jewel that sits out in the native arboretum. And it's a little homestead cabin that was built in 1904. And Dr. Jones operated a veterinary clinic out of it. That building was donated in the 80s, and 16 Granges with Don Samuelson led the effort to have it taken apart and put back together on the museum property. Over time, it's been used as a storage shed for the Native Plant Society, and the museum board and myself has decided that the best opportunity for that artifact is to have it operate as an exhibit space and an educational third space for children. That's what we're hearing from the public schools. Children want to be a part of history and be surrounded by it instead of reading about it. So keeping that in mind, we are going to be embarking on a sponsorship campaign to be able to fix the roof and rechink the structure. We've applied for grants, and we've been able to get some sponsorship money going. But it's another wonderful historic building that we can, promote and have a part of. It came off of, I think it was Lightning Creek area in the Sully Valley region, so.
I see it every day from my house. I love that building. I do have a question. What will the Native Plant Society do?
So they are currently looking for another structure, to put on in the native plant area. To house their tools, and they felt like it was also the best use of the structure. And,
That's great.
everything's super friendly.
That's great. That's fantastic.
I could see adding this to the piece on the museum on the brochure.
I love that idea.
Yeah, that's a
Say
great
it's
idea
just,
too.
that's part of the site and maybe even a photo or something.
That's a great idea.
Some little bit
That's a great idea in revision.
So I'll keep you all posted as it moves along. And I think a part of our meetings, it would be fun if something comes up and the opportunity is right. If we are aware of something happening with the historic building or changing, I think it's really important for all of us to be aware of the historic properties and know them intimately, and kind of have those things on our radar so we can do what we need to as a commission in terms of preserving them.
I think that
We
makes,
now live right up the street from the Lakeview Cemetery.
Oh, wonderful.
And,
Sue, could you speak into your microphone? I have a
oh,
hard time
I
hearing
didn't
you.
know it was live. We live now right close to Lakeview Cemetery. So, yes, but, it's being kept mowed. I don't know how that's being paid for or anything like that, but it is being kept mowed. They lost some trees in the big storm that they were taken care of, so somebody is caring for it. The stones, many of them are in bad shape though.
thank you for that. I know Jackie may know because she's usually on top of that topic. Okay, if there's no,
I
Okay,
have
we have something
just a question, and this may be something that Brian can relay. I'm wondering where our liaison from the city council is. Do we have one? Is one going to be appointed? I think it's very important for any commission or committee to have that liaison and that information from the council that they can share. So
Yeah, I can follow up on
we've been without for a bit.
right, and at least in my involvement, we've always had one. Before that, it was several different people,
Yeah.
but I don't know before that, but it has proven to be very helpful.
Well, and I think it's helpful for the, if there's any information we have, can relate it back to the council by the council members. So.
And my understanding of that role is that that person is the liaison from the council. They are not formally on the commission or voting, is that
They
correct?
don't vote.
Correct. Thank you.
They're advisory.
Thank you, Sue, for bringing that up again. Okay, if there is nothing else for now, we will plan on having our next meeting on September 15th. And would someone like to make a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Hi.
All opposed? All abstaining? Thank you all. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Melissa, and thank you, Ryan.